I'm not too sure how long people are going to be happy that Kathleen Kennedy is gone. What's up, everybody? So I know I'm a little late to the game because it was earlier in the week that Kathleen Kennedy finally stepped down as head of Lucasfilm after a very, very long and very controversial tenure there. The reason I took my time is because I knew, because of all the articles and the rumblings that I've seen, that there was going to be tons of content out there of people rejoicing and celebrating and being super happy, almost like ding dong, the witch is dead type of reactions online. And while I understand why a lot of that has been going down, I wanted to have a more measured approach to this. I wanted to be just a little bit more objective, less emotional about it all. And when you think of everything that has happened, everything from the sequel series to all the TV shows that came out, to Rogue One, to the Solo movie, um, yeah, it has not been a very good tenure, and it's kind of impressive that she was still able to hold on to that position for as long as she did. And man, I just don't get it. What happened behind the scenes? I mean, it's not common knowledge, but it's pretty much a matter of public record that she said some things that just didn't add up, didn't make any sense. She was handpicked by George Lucas. She produced a lot of the stuff that, he was busy with. A lot of the movies that Steven Spielberg directed, she was the main producer behind it. So it's not like she's some person that just they took off the street or somebody that worked in the mailroom. She had been paying her dues for a very, very long time in the movie business and has a stellar track record as a producer. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that you can be, the head of a studio. I mean, just think about, a sports analogy. Just because Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time does not mean he's going to be the greatest coach of all time. And so in this particular case, you know, I, I mean, in the beginning, a couple of things happened. George Lucas said as he was handing over the keys to the castle that he had outlines and treatments for for episodes 7, 8, and 9. So there was a direction that he thought about where the movies and the stories could go. And then there was, Kathleen Kennedy saying, "Oh, there's no source material for us to base our movies and content off of," which made you raise an eyebrow. She also said, "Oh, but we don't have a book like Harry Potter, to adapt a movie off of. There are literally hundreds of books in the Star Wars universe, and she could have picked any one of them to create, a cinematic experience around." She said there's no comic books. There's literally tons of comic books. So I'm not understanding why she's saying those things when it's so easy to find the opposite of what she's saying. I'm not going to go so far as telling her saying that she's a liar. I don't know that. What I do know is that what she was saying can easily be refuted. And I'm not a huge fan of blaming fans for not liking something. I didn't like episodes 7, 8, 9. I was kind of pumped for episode 7 for The Force Awakens, but at the same time, it was like just heavy on nostalgia and callbacks. And so, at least with the prequel series, something new was being done. It's flawed, but there's still a central and anchoring story that you are tracking. With any of the other, with the sequels series, I don't know the story really of any of them. I couldn't tell you. And so to me, it was like, oh, okay, Force Awakens is going to be basically a beat for beat remake of A New Hope. And then the second one is going to do that with Empire Strikes Back. And the third one is going to do that with Return of the Jedi. But I just, why do that? And, that take us on a journey as Star Wars fans. But none of that really happened. And then with the series that came along, all of them, everything from Obi-Wan Kenobi to Ahsoka to the Acolyte, Obi-Wan was what maybe the most interesting one of it all, because then it kind of tells the story that could connect, episode 3 and episode 4. And I was like, okay, that could be something. What happened to Obi-Wan? What was his experience that turned him into the grizzled old man that we meet in episode 4? So I thought that was kind of interesting and new. But the concept was great, but the execution I thought it was just super boring. And that's what I have to say about most of it. Now, unfortunately, I haven't seen Andor. I hear great things, and all right, cool. I liked Rogue One, but everything else has just been like, like there's no emotional connection to it, at least from my part. I know the other emotional connection that people have is just how much they hate it all. But to me, it's like at least you're reacting strongly towards something. To me, it was just a giant blah. And that to me was like, I think, the greatest failure. Here is somebody who has a stellar track record of working with these amazing storytellers. So she kind of knows the profile of what it takes to tell a great story, whether on TV or on film, yet she can't pick the people to do that. I mean, to me, it's not even the failures that, get me down. It's the things the projects that were announced that didn't happen. The Patty Jenkins movie, the James Mangold movie, you know, those things are like, okay, these are great filmmakers. Let them do what they do. Lord and Miller, apparently had this great version of a Han Solo movie, and then she just said, no, we're going to do this instead. And it just ended up being another thing that was just, eh. It was just a non entity almost, so it wasn't a great time there for her. At the same time, I'm not really sure what is going to happen going forward. I'm not really like hyped that Dave Filoni is going to be the new creative director. At least from the creative side, he's going to be heading the studio with somebody else who's a little bit more attuned to the business aspect of movies and running a studio. But he was handpicked by her. So he was there the entire time. So, yes, he knows a whole lot about Star Wars and the Star Wars world. Does that mean that he can put the right people together to put together great stories that the fans can enjoy? I'm not so sure, but I'm open to it. Let's see what happens. Anyways, what about you guys? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash that like button, give me a follow, and I'll see you guys next time.